Hey, it's your girl, Michelle Carey, and today we're going to be talking about head hopping. I put together this presentation about point of view control. So, if you've ever gotten feedback about how your point of view is slipping or that readers feel confused about whose story they're following, this lesson is for you. I know all too well about head hopping issues. So, let's dig in. So, what is head hopping? Head hopping is the abrupt uncontrolled shift between characters' thoughts and internal experiences, all within the same scene. There is no clear transition or scene break when we have a head hop. It happens when you jump from one character's thoughts directly into another character's thoughts without warning the reader. So you can have one line, let's say, that's character A. The second line is character B, and we're getting all those eternal emotions, thoughts, and feelings. The result of this, it just leaves readers disoriented. They lose track of whose story that they're following. And worst of all, it disconnects the reader from the narrative. So you might hear it also called as point of view slip or point of view violation. Same thing, just different names. But why does this matter? Now you're thinking, why does this matter so much? Can't readers figure it out? Don't they know what it is that I'm trying to say? But here's the thing, head hopping causes three major problems. First, it breaks the reader's trust. So when readers are invested into your story, into your character's perspective, they're making like an agreement with you. Oh, okay, I'm going to be following character A throughout this scene. Okay, I will experience this story through this character's eyes. And when you suddenly shift without warning, oh my God, it feels like, wait a minute, what? I was just in, I was just following this and now I'm all over here. Kind of feels like a betrayal sometimes. And then second, it destroys the immersion. Every time you hop into a different head, the reader gets yanked out of the other character's story. So they have to stop and have to figure out, well, whose story is this anyway? Is it character A's story? Is it character B's? Because I all of a sudden I'm feeling the emotions of character B when we were just talking about A. And so that mental reset, it pulls them out of your fictional world that you have really created, that you've taken the time out to create. And then the third, it weakens the tension. So when readers know what every character is thinking, there's no mystery. Like, where's the mystery? Where is the mystery? Because the emotional stakes drop because you know everything. There's nothing to wonder about. So let me show you what head hopping actually looks like on this page here. Here's the passage. You can read along with me. Sarah watched Marcus cross the room. She wondered if he still loved her. Marcus paused at the window. He couldn't believe she'd betrayed him like this. Sarah took a step forward. Maybe she could explain. He steeled himself against the apology he knew was coming. We got Sarah, then we got Marcus, then we got Sarah, then we got Marcus. So you see what happened there? We just bounced back and forth between Sarah's thoughts and Marcus's thoughts in a single paragraph. It was just like a tennis match, pickleball, back and forth, back and forth. We have Sarah's internal thoughts and then we have Marcus's internal thoughts. There's no transition between the two. There's no scene break. There's no warning. There's nothing. The reader can't settle into the character's experience because they keep going back and forth like a ping pong ball, a tennis ball between the two. And that is head hopping in action. And it's probably one of the most common mistakes in early drafts from a lot of writers. So Let's just take the time out to see how this scene can be done correctly. Sarah watched Marcus across the room, his shoulders rigid, his jaw set in that stubborn line she knew too well. Did he still love her? She couldn't tell anymore. He paused at the window, silhouetted against the gray afternoon light, and she saw his hands clenched at his sides. Whatever he was feeling, he wasn't ready to share. She took a step forward, rehearsing the words she practiced 100 times. You see the difference? It's all about Sarah. It's all about what Sarah is observing with Marcus. We really don't know what's going on with Marcus, but Sarah seems to think she knows by Marcus's body language, where he is, kind of the things that he's doing. It's all observable. So we stay completely in Sarah's head for the entire time. All observations are filtered through her perception and her emotional state. Marcus is being observed. We see his body language, like I said. He has rigid shoulders, he has clenched hands. We can only guess at his thoughts, just like Sarah has to guess. And because of that, the tension is preserved. The mystery of what Marcus is feeling creates a suspense, the tension that we need. The reader has now experienced the scene exactly as Sarah does, because now we want to know, well, what made Marcus feel like this? Why is Marcus doing this? So, when it comes to your draft, how do you catch head hopping in your own work? I'm going to give you 6 red flags to watch for when you start to revise and edit your draft. First, watch for phrases like he thought, she realized, when they apply to your characters other than the character of the point of view for that scene. If your scene is in Sarah's point of view and you write Marcus thought, nope, nope, scratch it, start again, or ixnay. Second, be wary of the little did she know, because they reveal information your point of view character cannot accept. What do you mean, little did she know? That's a classic narrator intrusion, okay? And you're putting that upon your character. Third, check when you state another character's feelings as fact. Writing, he was jealous, when your point of view character has no way of knowing that they're really jealous. That's a slip. You can observe behavior that perhaps maybe suggests some type of jealousy, but you cannot know it. You do not know it. The character does not know it. And then fourth, watch how you describe your point of view for your character externally. Her blue eyes sparkled. That's a problem. If she cannot see her own eyes in that moment, how does she know they're sparkling? And then fifth, look for internal monologues. If you have two or more characters' thoughts appearing in the same paragraph, that's head hopping. And then six, check for behind the back action. Are you describing what happens in a room your character is not in and cannot see? Remember, keep things observable. Keep the things that your character can see in front of them. And these are good questions to ask yourself for every piece of information in your scene. How does my point of view character know this? If they cannot know, then revise. So, thinking about some techniques to stay in your character's point of view consistently. Use scene breaks for point of view shifts. Only switch point of view at chapter or scene breaks. So, if you have a chapter, make that point of view for that character all that chapter. But if you decide that you are going to have many scenes in one chapter, of course, you can use some kind of line break or symbol, something to let your reader know we're switching now. because we're getting ready to go into a different scene. You can go deep into one character, you can commit fully to that point of view character's voice, their vocabulary, their worldview, and you can make the perspective unmistakable all in that one scene. And of course, we have to show, we don't tell emotions. Let other characters reveal their feelings through the dialogue, through their body language, and their actions of what the point of view character is observing. Do not tell us, please don't. Please do not tell us what they feel directly. We also have to filter through perception. So when your point of view character interrupts another character's emotional state and use words like seemed or appeared or she guessed, this keeps you honest about what they actually know versus what they assume. You know why? Because it's observable. It's observable. And we also have to limit the camera. Only describe what your point of view character can see. Like I said before, observable. What they can hear, smell, taste, touch from their physical position in the scene. If your character is in the bathroom and the other character's in the living room and they're having a dialogue back and forth, there's no way in the world that your point of view character can say anything about the second character because they can't see them. They're in a different location, a different setting. So when you start the scene, choose the point of view before you write and then ask yourself, whose scene is this? Whose goal is driving this action? And that person is your point of view character. Now, we got to understand some of our point of view options before we go any further. So let's make sure that we understand the point of view options available to you. First person is the most intimate, it's the I. Ugh, I don't write in first person. I cannot stand writing in first person because I always feel like when I write I take it personally because it is the most intimate. And I'm like, this isn't really about me. The book's written in I, and you're locked in throughout the entire book to that one character. Your reader is expecting I. Everything is coming from that character's point of view. But then you also have third person limited. This is what I write in. It is, of course, the most common, and a lot of writers do write in third person, the most common choice in commercial fiction. Head hopping is, of course, the main pitfall of when you do this because it's easy if you have two people in the scene to try to get in both people's heads. And then, of course, the third one is omniscient. It is the most flexible, but it's one of those things where you have to be careful because you have the narrator, because they can access all minds, and it requires a strong, consistent narrator voice to work properly. But here's my advice: choose your point of view before you draft, of course, then commit to the rules. Mixing them up mid-scene without understanding what you're doing is when the trouble starts, and it is going to be hell trying to fix that in editing and revision, and we don't want you to get flustered. But let me say this. Let me talk about the omniscient exception. Now, it's true that the omniscient point of view is the godlike narrator that has access to all the characters' thoughts. The narrator is the distinct presence guiding the reader through the story. And so the key difference is this: head hopping is random and uncontrolled, and it can confuse readers. The omniscient is deliberate and controlled. It has to have a consistent narrator voice. So think about that before you decide that you're going to go to that level. But most writing that claims to be omniscient is actually accidental head hopping. It is very hard to pull off because authors who've mastered it, it's very rare. So, think about that. Think about if you actually want to take that on, because I'm pretty sure editing that is can be difficult at best. So here are some key takeaways. One, one point of view per scene. Remember that. Decide whose scene it is and then go with it. Their goal drives the action. Two, use scene breaks for point of view shifts, chapters, line breaks, simple chapters, line breaks, symbols, signal transitions, something. You have to tell your reader that we're switching scenes now. Don't forget to show external behavior, guess at internal states. Other characters will reveal their emotions through what they do and say, not through direct thought access. And then always ask the question, how does my point of view character know this? If they cannot know it, revise the sentence. And then remember, consistent point of view is not a limitation, it is a tool. It brings readers trust. It deepens the character connection and it maintains narrative tension. Okay? So it's your turn. I want you to pull out a scene from your current work in progress, read it with fresh eyes, and ask yourself, whose head am I in? Can I identify any moments where I slipped into another character's thoughts? And here's a simple exercise. Just go through the scene, highlight every thought tag, circle every emotion statement, and for each one, ask, whose point of view is this? And if you find slips, don't worry. Every writer makes them. Lord knows I have. But this is what revision is actually for. So I just want to say thank you for joining me today. And if you have questions, let's discuss in the comments.